Welcome back to the weekly review wrap-up. I know I'm a day behind, guys. I was really hoping to get this up on Sunday. Didn't work out that way, but I'm putting it up now. Now, as far as the releases, actual physical media goes, not too many. 3 to go over. All Warner Archive. I do have some streaming movies that I checked out, streaming series that I also checked out that I'm going to go talk about as well. But let's get right into the physical media, the ones that I did check out. Like I said, all Warner Archive. Unfortunately, guys, I'm basically 0 for 3 in my opinion. With these films. But again, my opinion. It doesn't. People can absolutely love these films. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is the great thing about cinema. Somebody can love it. Somebody can hate it. It doesn't matter. It's all up to opinion. So, the first film I'm going to talk about is Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. Christopher Lambert is in this, Andy McDowell's in this, Ian Holmes in this. So a great cast of actors and actresses alike. But I gotta say, guys, I have some other Warner Archive Tarzan films from like the 60s. They are way better than this. I think this film went on just a little bit too long. This clock's in probably about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It probably could have been, you could have shaved at least a half hour off of this film. Easily, 30, 35 minutes. At the beginning of this film, there are lightning strikes that happen like within the jungle. And I'm like, oh man, we're going to have like a Highlander moment. I started like just laughing in my head to myself. This could be like, it could be only one. There only be one Tarzan. Just like it could be only one in the Highlanders. But, Christopher Lambert, he's fine. He does a good job as Tarzan. But like I said, it just goes on too long. The apes, they look okay. The practical effects with the apes. But I've seen some, Planet of the Apes, older films that look better than what the apes look like within this film. I was just disappointed. It's a lot of, there is action, but not as much as what I was hoping from a Tarzan film. I would say, hands down, the best performance is Ian Holm. He's really good in this. But other than that, guys, I'm, trying to find, the redeeming qualities for this film are just a little too slow for me. It's just, it is. And it's a shame, too. Like I said, a great cast of actors and actresses. It just couldn't hook me. I mean, if you want to go, watch a Tarzan film, check out, go to Amazon, see if they still have the other Warner Archive Tarzan films. Those are really, really good. I can't, to me, those are better. Those are way, way better Tarzan films than what this is. Even Disney's Tarzan animated film is a really good film. But this, like I said, just a little too slow. It just, once, Christopher Lambert comes to the mainland, is around other, other humans, it doesn't work. To me, it just doesn't, there's something missing that just is not there for me with this film. It looks nice, though. I mean, the scenery, the jungle, looks really, really nice. But there's just some things that just don't click for me with this film. Now, another film that I've had, and this film I had high hopes for. I figured it's like a mid-'80s film. Actually, if I look up the year on it right now, 1985, so mid-'80s. I'm like, okay, it's got, I watched a trailer for it. It's got some, a little bit of sports in it, maybe a little bit of romance in it. It was not what I thought it was going to be. It was disappointing. It was. And that is Vision Quest. Now, I've looked at some reviews, on Amazon, what people think of this film. But some people, you either like it or you don't like it. Probably more like people are just, it's not, you have to really have the nostalgia for this film. If you saw it back in the 80s, you're probably going to really like it. But seeing it now, there's other 80s films that I've seen for the first time that I really like. But this one really just, it let me down with this film. It was not what I thought it was going to be. Matthew Modine's in this. Linda Florentino's in this. But still, it just, there's something about it. The trailer is probably the best part of this film. If you've seen the trailer, you pretty much get an idea of where the film's going to go, how it's going to work. That's about it. The soundtrack in this movie, fantastic, though. Journey is in, Journey has a song in this. Madonna performs actually in this, 2 songs in this. So, it's a good soundtrack, all the way across the board. But as far as the film goes, Matthew Modine, he's just turning 18 years old. He's a wrestler in high school. He wants to, lower his weight down to 168 so he can challenge, it's almost like unbeatable wrestler, within the state. And, along the way, he meets Linda Fiorentino, whose car, she's supposed to be 21 in this movie. Her car is basically broke down, and she goes and stays with him and his father. Obviously he falls for her, but it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go with this film. There's something, I can't put my finger on it, that just really does not work. Matthew Modine, I've seen him in other performances, and he's good. Like Married to the Mob with Michelle Pfeiffer. I love that movie. Never saw it before, but I've seen it, I hadn't seen it before, but now I got it from Kino Lorber, and I checked it out, a number of months ago. Really good. It's really good. But this really, it disappointed me. His performance, when you have a film that you have the sports aspect, or even and I love the romance films, but there's just something, I don't want to say there's a little bit of chemistry between the two of them, not as much as what I would have liked to have seen. That's the thing. There's just something about there's supposed to be, when you watch these kind of films, you're supposed to feel a connection with both characters. And I was not feeling it. You're supposed to be rooting for them, for both of them. I couldn't get it. I couldn't do it. I just could not find a way to root for both of them. Matthew Modine, he's probably okay in the role. I don't know if Linda Fiorentino, I don't know if she was cast. I don't know if either of them were really cast correctly in this film. I know, like I said, I know some people really like this one, but for me, I was disappointed. I really, like I said, I'm going on a little bit more about it than maybe I should. But I was just really, I had high hopes, and I was disappointed by Vision Quest. Definitely not, one of the strong films of the 80s. And I was bummed out, guys. I really was. Now, guys, unfortunately, I'm going 0 for 3 on the Warner Archive in this review. And I know some people are really going to shoot me probably for this one, but Lady Hawk. It did not. This is a film, I saw this film when I was younger, seen it a few times. I couldn't really, once I started watching again, certain, things I started remembering about the film. Matthew Broderick is in this, Michelle Pfeiffer's in this, Rutger Hauer's in this. So a good cast. But it doesn't hold up. It's a Richard Donner film. Richard Donner, synonymous with making, Superman. But still, it didn't hold up to what I was hoping it was going to. Beastmaster holds up tremendously well. Tremendously well. I really, really like that. And then that's another film that I'm going to have to go and check out the 4K and just do a review, because I was blown away with just how much that one held up. This film, to me, doesn't hold up. And I think one of the problems, does it look nice? It looks fine. The Blu-ray looks beautiful. It really does. The Blu-ray really holds up a lot. They did a really nice job with this. But I think, story-wise, the story-wise isn't bad. Story-wise, it's not bad. Like I say, guys, even though I said it doesn't hold up, so for some people, it might hold up pretty well still. But is it a bad film? No, it's not a bad film. I would say of the three that I just talked about, this is the better, this is the top film. It's not a bad film. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this probably about a 5, 5.5. It's not bad. But there's just one thing that definitely took me out of it with this film was the musical choices that Richard Donner used. There are fight scenes almost I don't want to say it's like a disco kind of sound to it, but it does. This is I'm going to look at the year once again. Another 1985 film. The sounds that were used in this, they don't go well. There's certain fight scenes in this that, when they're battling with their sword, and they use the right kind of background to it. But this, it really took me out of it. Every time you have this kind of this, I don't even know what it was, a beat, whatever. It just took me out of the film. And that was something that definitely, right off the bat, that took me out of it right away. Matthew Broderick, he's good in this. But it just kind of took me out of the film. And once that happened, I was having a hard time. Every time I'd start getting back into it, it took me out of the film once again. And this film runs, I'm trying to see what the time is on this one, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to see exactly what the run time is. 121 minutes. So 2 hours. There are some parts that do drag on. Obviously, there might. I mean, for I think I've seen about this film, it took about 2 years for Richard Donner to get this film made. But obviously, with budget wise, you don't see the transformation. Michelle Pfeiffer turning into a hawk. You don't see Rutger Hauer turning into a wolf. So obviously budget cuts were a little bit there. You're not going to really see too much with special effects. But it's not a bad film. It just doesn't hold up as well as I was hoping it was going to, hold up. So, still, I mean, Lady Hawk, 5.5 out of 10. If you really want to get in, check this out again, it's not a bad film to check out. I was just really hoping it was going to be a little bit higher up and hold up a little more than, for me, than what it did. So, those were the 3, as I drop things here, guys, the 3 Warner Archive titles that I checked out. Like I said, if anybody's going to be into, these are perfect for somebody. That put it this way, they're just not for me, but they might be good for somebody else. So definitely, they're not complete. They're not terrible, but there might be, for some people, I think, especially with like Lady Hawk and Vision Quest, nostalgia. That's basically if you grew up watching those, all the time, there's going to be some nostalgia for those 2 films. Now, as far as streaming releases go. I already did. Listen, man. I already talked about. I'm getting right out here. I'm getting pumped up, man. Yeah. Get pumped up. Mortal Kombat. Freaking Mortal Kombat. Oh my goodness! I talked about it after I watched the film on Saturday. Wow. I'm still blown away. Even thinking about it now, I can't believe just how they were able to it's easily up there at one of the best video game adaptations I've ever seen. I after thinking about it a couple of days, 8.5. Like I said, 8.5. I still stick at that. I loved it. I will absolutely be picking it up when it comes out in 4K. I cannot wait to see it once again on 4K. I'm probably gonna watch it again before it leaves HBO Max. Just blown away. I'm not gonna go into too much more about it. There were some things I forgot to mention, because I was just so excited after watching it the other day. But the gentleman who plays Kano in the film, he steals the movie. The Kano character is freaking fantastic. Really, really good. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, oh my goodness. I knew it. As soon as I started watching the movie the other day, I knew, that 1995 theme song, that techno song from the original Mortal Kombat in 95. When I started watching the film, I knew. I had a feeling. I'm like, you know what? They are not going to play this until a certain part of the film. And I'm not going to say what it is, guys, but I knew it. I'm like, they're not going to do it until this happens. And so happy when they did. So happy. I'm just so ear to ear, man. I could not have expected this to be any better than what it was. It completely blows the original out of the water. Completely does. Really, really enjoyed it a lot. And now as far as other streaming things go, Falcon and Winter Soldier wrapped up, episode 6, and now we might, if anybody hasn't seen, I'm going to put a little bit of spoiler here for Falcon and Winter Soldier, so if anybody hasn't seen it yet, you might want to stop, watch it, and come back and finish this review. But when you first see Sam, when he pops up on screen, being Captain America, his version of Captain America, wow. It looked great. It really did. The outfit, the costume, everything just came right off of the comic book pages. It was really well done. It was a good overall series. It was. A lot of people pretty much called who the power broker was going to be in the series, and it went that way. U.S. Agent looked really good. The costume at the end looked fantastic. Seeing these characters come to life, it's fantastic. It really is. I know some people say, they would have liked to have seen Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character a little bit more, in the series. But from what I've heard, her character might be fleshed out a little more in Black Widow. So, I mean, whether or not she does, that's what I've heard. So I don't know if that's true or not, that her character is going to pop up in Black Widow. So that might be why, they wanted to hold off on really explaining her a little bit more than what they do within the series. But overall, a lot of action. Definitely you can see the character. These shows, these Disney Plus Marvel shows are character. That's what they are. They are character builders. We saw in WandaVision. Definitely a chance to get more detail with Wanda's overall character. And the same thing with Sam and the same thing with Bucky. Yes, there's action. You see Falcon. You see, Bucky as Winter Soldier. But there's just so much character development. Even with Baron Zemo, holy crap. Here was a character who was, he was good. He was developed pretty well in Civil War. But they just went even more with this. So that's what these series, I think, are really doing. Is giving a chance to just take the time and give these characters some development. Flesh out the characters. And it's really good. I loved the entire series. The full 6 episodes. Really, really good. Now, finally, the final movie that I did check out, that I rented off of Google, was Shadow in the Clouds. Chloe Grace Moretz. It's World War II, and basically she is on a fighter jet, and these guys, they do not want a woman on the plane with them. It's a superstitious thing for them. They don't want her on the plane. So basically what they do is they put her in this lower cockpit area, so she can where the gun, the gun turrets are under the plane. And basically that's where she is the entire film. I mean, she is basically in the film. All you see is her for about 90% of the film, I would say. As far as the film itself goes, it's basically her character is trying to get, like she's being, assigned. She's got this like basket that she carries with her. And there's something in the basket. I'm not going to say, what it is. But there's something in the basket she's trying to get from, get to another area. And basically, like she says, she has papers, government papers that say, nobody can open this basket. You just got to get me to where I have to go. So the other pilots, they stick, put her down in this, cockpit with this, turret. And she sees, Japanese fighter planes. They finally believe her that, they're there. So obviously, she knows how to man these guns. But it's not just that that's going on. There's also this superstitious, of gremlins being on a plane. And, just when there's a problem, there's failure within the plane, blame it on gremlins. So there is, a gremlin. If you've seen the trailer, there's a gremlin on the plane. Everything, they don't believe her about that. But overall, guys, I would say this one I'll give a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it maybe a 5. It's worth a watch, but it's one, honestly, it's one that I will not be picking up. Physically, I will not be picking it up. It looked okay. It wasn't, there were some of the special effects, especially for a film that came out like late last year, early this year. There were some of the CGI special effects that just, I don't know what they like. You could definitely, honestly tell it was a green screen. It did not look that great. Definitely looked very, very fake. But I mean, overall, it wasn't a bad film. It's just not one that I'm gonna be going back and revisiting again. I'm not gonna go into much more about the film. Other than that, there were just a lot of aspects that I didn't really care for in the film. Some things worked. The parts with the gremlin, loved that part. But other than that, there was just things that didn't work for me. With the film. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the physical media things I checked out streaming wise, and yeah. So this weekend, though, I will try to get a review on time this weekend. But I'm gonna get this one up tonight, guys. And yeah, like, subscribe, and comment if you get the chance, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Take care.